4 million developers. That is Jensen Huang's real weapon. Not the H100. Not Blackwell. Not the $3.6 trillion market cap Nvidia hit in October 2024, according to Bloomberg. It's a piece of software most investors have never opened. It's called CUDA. And it is the single most valuable asset in the semiconductor industry today. On March 18, 2024, Jensen Huang walked onto the SAP Center stage in San Jose wearing his leather jacket. He told the GTC audience that CUDA now has, quote, an installed base of nearly 5 million developers. He said it casually. Almost like an aside. But that one number explains why AMD's MI300X, a technically competitive chip, cannot dethrone Nvidia. It explains why Intel's Gaudi 3 is struggling to find buyers. And it explains why every hyperscaler on Earth keeps signing checks to Santa Clara. Here's what this video is really about. Nvidia's moat is not silicon. It's switching costs. And the switching costs from CUDA to AMD's ROCm or Intel's OneAPI are so brutal that even a 30% price cut cannot move the market. By minute 7, I'll show you the specific line of code that traps a Fortune 500 AI team inside the Nvidia ecosystem for a decade. Stay with me. Let's start with what CUDA actually is. Because most financial coverage gets this wrong. CUDA stands for Compute Unified Device Architecture. Nvidia launched it in June 2007. At the time, it was a bet almost nobody understood. GPUs were for video games. Jensen Huang spent, according to a 2023 New Yorker profile, more than $10 billion over a decade building CUDA before it generated meaningful revenue. Wall Street analysts called it a distraction. One Morgan Stanley note from 2012 recommended Nvidia cut CUDA investment entirely. That call did not age well. CUDA is a parallel computing platform. It lets developers write code in C, C++, Python, or Fortran that runs directly on Nvidia GPUs. Every major AI framework, PyTorch, TensorFlow, JAX, is built with CUDA as the default backend. According to a State of AI 2024 report from Air Street Capital, more than 90% of published machine learning papers in 2024 used CUDA-based infrastructure. That is not a moat. That is a monopoly on the tooling of a scientific field. And here's the part nobody talks about. CUDA is not one product. It is a stack. CUDNN for deep learning. CUBLOS for linear algebra. TensorRT for inference optimization. NCCL for multi-GPU communication. Each layer has been refined for 17 years. Each layer has millions of lines of production-tested code. You cannot replicate that in a quarter. You cannot replicate it in 5 years. But here's where it gets complicated. Because AMD has tried hard. On December 6, 2023, AMD CEO Lisa Su stood in San Jose and launched the MI300X. On paper, it beat the H100. More memory, 192 GB of HBM3 versus 80. Higher memory bandwidth. Competitive flops. According to AMD's own benchmarks, the MI300X delivered up to 1.6x the inference performance of the H100 on Llama 270B. Meta, Microsoft, and OpenAI all publicly committed to buying it. And yet, according to John Petty Research, Nvidia's data center GPU market share in Q4 2024 was still above 90%. AMD's share barely moved. Why? ROCm. ROCm is AMD's answer to CUDA. It's open source. It's technically capable. And it is, according to a widely cited December 2023 report from SemiAnalysis titled MI300X versus H100 versus H200 benchmark, plagued with bugs, missing features, and broken installation paths. SemiAnalysis engineers spent 5 months trying to get baseline PyTorch performance out of ROCm. They described the software as, quote, unusable out of the box. AMD had to send its own engineers on site to fix customer deployments. That's the moat in action. Nvidia's software just works. AMD's does not. And in enterprise AI, where a training run costs $100 million and a bug costs a quarter, just works is worth more than raw teraflops. Now let me show you the specific line of code I promised. This is the bombshell. Inside almost every production AI codebase, there's a line that looks like this: import torch, model.CUDA. That one function call, .CUDA, is hard-coded into hundreds of thousands of internal enterprise scripts. When a company decides to switch from Nvidia to AMD, they don't just swap hardware. They have to audit every model, every training pipeline, every inference server, and rewrite CUDA-specific calls into ROCm equivalents. According to a 2024 analysis from The Information, one large hyperscaler estimated the internal migration costed over $200 million before hardware savings. That's not switching. That's a divorce. And it gets worse. Because CUDA has proprietary libraries, like TensorRT-LLM, that have no direct ROCm equivalent. Custom CUDA kernels, written by in-house teams for specific workloads, cannot be ported automatically. Nvidia has, over 17 years, quietly built a set of vendor-specific dependencies so deep that migration is not an engineering project. It's a multi-year corporate transformation. This is where the story changes. Because someone noticed. And that someone was the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. In June 2024, according to reporting from the Wall Street Journal, the DOJ and FTC divided antitrust jurisdiction over AI. The DOJ took Nvidia. Investigators are specifically examining whether CUDA licensing terms, and Nvidia's practice of restricting CUDA translation layers, violate U.S. antitrust law. In March 2024, Nvidia updated its CUDA end-user license agreement to explicitly prohibit running CUDA software on non-Nvidia hardware through translation layers like SLUDA. That is a legal moat wrapped around the technical moat. And internationally, it's escalating. According to a Reuters report from July 2024, China's State Administration for Market Regulation opened its own probe into Nvidia's dominance. Beijing understands what Washington understands. Whoever controls the AI software stack controls the AI economy. So let's talk about the competition seriously. Because there are three real challengers. First, Intel's OneAPI. Launched in 2020, based on the Open SYCL standard. Technically elegant. Commercially irrelevant. Intel's Gaudi 3 accelerator, launched in April 2024, uses a custom software stack that is not fully OneAPI native. According to Intel's own Q3 2024 earnings call, Gaudi revenue missed the company's $500 million target for the year. CEO Pat Gelsinger, before his December 2024 departure, admitted the ramp was, quote, slower than expected. Second, AMD's ROCm. Improving, but from a low base. AMD acquired Silo AI in July 2024 for $665 million specifically to shore up its software talent. It's a smart move. It's also 5 years too late. Third, a hyperscaler in-house chips. Google's TPU. Amazon's Trainium. Microsoft's Maya. These bypass CUDA entirely because they run on proprietary frameworks. According to a Bernstein research note from October 2024, Google's TPU v5 handles a majority of internal Google AI workloads. This is the only real threat to Nvidia's software dominance. And it only exists inside the walls of 3 companies. For everyone else, meaning every enterprise, every startup, every research lab, CUDA is the default. And defaults, in software, become destinies. But here's what nobody is saying. The CUDA moat has a hidden vulnerability. And it's called PyTorch 2.0. In March 2023, Meta released PyTorch 2.0 with a feature called torch.compile. It introduced a hardware abstraction layer that, in theory, lets the same PyTorch code run on Nvidia, AMD, or Intel silicon with a single flag change. According to a 2024 blog post from PyTorch maintainers, the goal is explicit hardware neutrality. If torch.compile matures, if it truly abstracts away the .CUDA call, the moat cracks. But if it's doing a lot of work in that sentence. As of late 2024, PyTorch 2.0 performance on non-Nvidia hardware still lags. The abstraction is leaky. Custom kernels still require CUDA. The moat holds. So what does this mean for investors over the next 5 years? 3 things. 1. Nvidia's gross margins are not a semiconductor margin. They are a software margin. According to Nvidia's Q3 fiscal 2025 earnings, data center gross margin exceeded 75%. That is Microsoft-tier profitability on hardware. It is sustainable only because CUDA prevents price competition. If you're modeling Nvidia as a chip company, you are modeling it wrong. It is a platform company that ships silicon. 2. AMD's data center TAM projections assume software parity. It doesn't exist yet. Analysts at Morgan Stanley in a November 2024 note flagged this explicitly. Watch our ROCm 6.3 and 7.0 releases carefully. Real market share gains require real software progress, not roadmaps. 3. The antitrust risk is now the primary regulatory overhang on Nvidia stock. Not export controls. Not China. Antitrust. A forced CUDA licensing remedy, unlikely but possible, would revalue the entire company overnight. So back to Jensen's sentence in San Jose. 5 million developers. That number is not marketing. It is the compounded output of a 17-year bet that Wall Street told him not to make. It is the reason Nvidia became a $3 trillion company on chips that competitors can technically match. And it is the reason no analyst report about AI hardware makes sense unless it starts with software. The H100 will be obsolete in 3 years. Blackwell will be obsolete in 5. CUDA will still be the default in 2035. That is the moat. That is the empire. If you want to understand who really controls the future of AI before Wall Street figures it out, subscribe. I break down one chip war story every week. Next video, the question I could not answer here. What happens if the DOJ actually forces Nvidia to open source CUDA? Who wins? Who dies? I have the answer, and it will surprise you.